I think we just had the definition of a hood rat given by old cousin Chris in studio here. We're still waiting on our white rapper. We have a white rapper that supposedly is going to be coming to the studio. So Chris, we've got somebody on the phone. We'll get to them here in a minute. Chris, what is your definition of a hood rat?
A hood rat is a woman that would suck anybody's dick that would look at.
Wow.
Pay attention to her, make her feel special. Because hood rats don't stop.
Hood rats don't stop. That's the
your mouth does not.
That's the phrase that pays, apparently.
Car wash. No parking and washing your tongue.
Wow.
Be a little picky, ladies.
Be a little picky, ladies. That's right.
Because they can walk out that door and look around Hutch, and when you see some women make a lot of mistakes.
There is a lot of women in the great city of Hutchinson, Kansas, making a lot of mistakes.
And I think we know two of them.
I think we know two of them. Yes.
You used to date both.
I used to date both of them. But
the black man with the chain.
One of them's got Black Snake Moan going, and then the other was dating the Snowman from Smoking the Bandit, getting a convoy together.
I want you to get 400 cases of beer and bring back to Atlanta, Georgia, Snowman. Can you do that for me? Yeah.
Convoy. Well, let's do this. Let's go to the telephones. Who do we have on the telephone? Hello, can you hear me, my friend?
Is he there?
I got headphones over there if you want to. Okay, go ahead and give us a brief introduction, my friend.
Oh, my name is Danny Saber. I am a musician, a musicer, amongst other things.
Danny Saber.
And, I believe I'm calling to talk to you about this new Michael Hutchence release.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about how did this come about? Because he hasn't made music in a long time, because he hasn't been on this planet in a long time. The former NXS singer. How did this get unearthed?
Well, I made a record with Michael. You know, I was pretty much his closest collaborator for the last 3 years of his life, and you know, we had a solo album we had been working on, and there was a lot of material, and essentially, you know, there was some material that was left over, and I've been sitting on some of this stuff because we were trying to find the right vehicle to sort of release it with. I mean, we didn't want to just put new music out without something to sort of, you know, market it with, because you know how it is these days. So there's a documentary film that's in the works that's pretty close to green lighting and getting made. But in the meantime, this opportunity came to release the song with this T-shirt concept, and it was such a great idea and such a cool thing, and you know, it seemed like the perfect fit. So that's essentially what initiated putting it out now. I've had this track. I reworked it recently, but you know, obviously Michael can't do any more vocals, so you know, we have some material that, you know, we had been working on, and I've been sitting on a few tracks just waiting for the right situation to put them out, and that's essentially what sort of, you know, initiated it, was this opportunity to release the song in conjunction with a T-shirt and the way the music's delivered. I mean, maybe we should tell the audience a little bit about that.
Yes, jump in there. Jump in there and tell us about it, my friend.
Essentially, there's a company called Estrella Inc., and Estrella is actually a very old friend of mine because just a quick brief history on Danny Saber. I started out as a record producer in the early 90s, and my first hit record was with a band called Black Grape, who was Sean Ryder, the singer from the Happy Mondays, who you may not be familiar with. But it was essentially a #1 record in the UK, and it was one of those rare records where it was, you know, it was #1 in the charts, but it was still a very cool, sort of edgy record. So you'd hear it on the radio, and then you could go into the coolest. At the time, drum and bass was just breaking in London, and you know, they would play album versions of our songs in these like really edgy clubs. So it was that kind of a crossover record, you know. But Sean's wife at the time is the daughter of Donovan Leach. Remember the Donovan? You know,
Yes. I faintly remember that. Yes.
Crazy coincidence. His other daughter happens to be Estrella. So we've known each other for 20 years, and Estrella's husband, Jason, you know, we reconnected a couple years ago, or maybe a year ago now, and he started telling me about what they were doing, and essentially they've created this brand, this T-shirt brand, and it's a really sort of high-end, cool designer rock T-shirt. But the coolest thing about it is it can actually deliver content with the T-shirt. So essentially, you buy the shirt, and there's a couple different ways the music's delivered, but you know, that to me is what's been missing from the music business lately. It's just finding other creative ways to deliver the music to the public. Because let's be honest, you know, there's a whole generation of kids now who, you know, they don't even know what it is. It wouldn't even occur to them to go in a record store and buy a record. Maybe I have a feeling me and you are a little bit older, you know, so that whole sort of concept is gone. So you got to be creative and find cool ways to get the music to the public, you know, and that's what this is really about. And obviously, you know, something Michael would have loved, because he was always on this sort of creative mission to always stay one step ahead of the game, both creatively and in every way when it is, you know, had to do with his music. So that's really what sort of initiated all of this happening, and that's why I'm talking to you.
Now, with this T-shirt, where exactly is this going to be available? How can we get a hold of this? Things of that nature.
Well, what you can do is there's a couple different ways. You can go to AstrellaInc.com. That's AstrellaInc.com. AstrellaInc.com. Or you can go to michaelhutchins.au.com. And the sure way to find it is just Google Michael Hutchins, and the name of the single is Friction, F-R-I, you know, Friction, and that's the name of the new song. So it's out there, but it's definitely, if you go to AstrellaInc.com, there's a link there that allows you to check out a little, you know, there's a little teaser for the song so you can hear the song, and I have to say it's a pretty cool song. It's not like, you know, one thing that's been really important to me is Michael, you know, was a very close friend, and he also had a huge impact on my life, because when the Black Grape record came out, that was sort of, you know, my first hit record, and I was a young producer. I think it was the third or fourth record I actually produced, and Michael was such a fan of the record, he sort of like championed me to all the sort of community of people, you know, like Bono, Edge, and Michael all had houses in the south of France and Nice. And the summer that record came out, they literally spent every day, and Michael had I heard stories later, he literally had that record on cycle. He would just, he listened to it for a month straight. That's all he listened to. So when he started working on his solo record, he called me, and, you know, we met on the phone, and next thing I know, I'm in London with Michael Hutchins working on a solo record, going out every night, you know, doing the rock star thing. But, you know, we walked into a nightclub one night, and in walks Mick Jagger and Ronnie Wood. The next thing I know, I'm talking to Mick Jagger. You know, he said, "Michael, what are you working on?" Well, you know, solo record. And Mick was at the time also trying to do a solo record, so Michael made the introduction, and the next thing I know, I'm working with Mick Jagger, which ultimately led to me working with the Rolling Stones. So Michael was very, very, you know, he was just that kind of a guy. You know, he would always try to open up doors and hook up his friends, and he did the same thing with U2. So I ended up producing the Rolling Stones and U2 because of Michael. And, you know, it's important that for me that whatever we release is up to a certain standard that you know, he would have been happy with. And I'm really, really confident with this song we're putting out. It's pretty cool, and I think his fans are really going to love it. And just to hear his voice again, you know, something fresh and new, and you know, it's a good thing, man. It's a good thing, because Michael really deserves to be remembered properly, and that's sort of the agenda that we have, the people I'm working with, to really let Michael take his place, you know, in the pantheon of rock. He's sort of been forgotten, and he was a super influential musician amongst his peers. I mean, like I was saying, Mick and Bono, all these guys watched him and really followed him to a certain degree, and he was the real deal, you know.
We've got a great guest with us today, joining us on the telephone at 43 minutes after the hour. Now, with this new single, new clothing, and things like that, what do you see the impact of this being?
Well, I mean, hopefully, you know, it's. I mean, you know, for us personally, I mean, the impact is really to sort of to start setting the table to really reintroducing Michael to the public consciousness. You know, there was a documentary that's been airing on, not a documentary, excuse me. They made like a made-for-TV miniseries from Australia that's been running on Showtime, and I think it's reminding people, you know, what a great frontman Michael was, and you know, it's just sort of reminding people about him and setting the table. We have a documentary coming down the pike, so there's, you know, a lot of stuff that's sort of brewing. And you know, for me, again, personally, what I'd like to see happen is obviously the song catch on, and his fans who are there's a huge community of fans, of Michael fans, that, you know, are passionate about him and his career. And the first thing is just to get that to the fans so they can sort of, you know, enjoy it. And from that point on, let's see what happens. You know, hopefully it just gets the snowball rolling, and we can start, you know, bringing Michael back and having a little place for him in the consciousness of everybody. You know, because he needs to be remembered, and he deserves his due.
Why do people not remember him except for his final days and things like that? Because NXS made a lot of music in the 80s.
Yeah, no, there was a period, you know, that moniker of biggest band in the world. They were that. I mean, there was a window there. You know, nobody stays there forever, you know, except maybe you too. But you know, they were that. I mean, I think people, and more importantly, not only how big they were, how good they were. I mean, if you watch, you know, there's a show, I think it's 91 at Wembley Stadium, which is really the height of their sort of power. And you know, you look at that stadium, and I don't care if it's Queen or it's every band sort of has that moment, and a lot of them take place at Wembley Stadium, and you see the audience, and Michael has them in the, you know, 100,000 people in the palm of his hand. It's just unbelievable, you know. So why? I mean, it's a lot of reasons that I you know, it doesn't even, there's no point in saying why. I think, you know, the circumstances of his death were a little unfortunate and murky. And there's a few reasons why, but what's important is now, you know, we've got something fresh and new coming out that's legit, and it can set the table, you know, to change that.
Well, it's good stuff. I appreciate you being with us today. Thanks for coming on the program. It was definitely a fascinating conversation. Thanks for coming on, my friend.
All right, cool. So remind the people, EstrellaInc.com.
Okay.
And so you're going to play the song?
Oh, we're going to play the song here in a few moments. I appreciate it.
Oh, great. All right, cool, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, and it's Michael Hutchins' Friction, so check it out.
Well, good stuff. We're going to play that here in a few moments. Thanks for being with us, man. We are going to take